Today's lesson is on translations. So translations is what in younger grades you would have referred to as slides. Question 1 will ask you how many units right or left and how many units up or down did the dot slide from position A to position B. So if we look, we start at A and we're moving to B. So we start, does it go right or left? Well, it goes to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units, and then it goes up 1, 2, 3 units. So 5 units, 3 units, and then you're writing in the 2 coordinates for each point. So A is your x value first, -3, then y, -2, and B is 2 and 1. So you would put both of those in. You'll do the same thing for each of these. Start at A, figure out do you move right or left, then do you move up or down, and how many places, and then put in your 2 sets of coordinates. Now, when a point or a shape is changed by a slide or a translation, or another kind of transformation, the resulting point is called the image. So this B would be the image of A because it has slid to get to that point. Question 2 is where we'll start to use this idea of an image a little bit more. So your first job is to find the coordinates of point A. So locate point A, remember always X, and then Y. So you can put those into the original point here. Then predict the coordinates of the point when it slides by the given number of units. And then slide the point to check your answer. So if we're moving 6 units to the right and 3 units down, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3 down, 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to write the image coordinates, so X and then Y, and those will go here. As you're trying to label the image in the previous question, when the same transformation is performed on several points, it's convenient to use the same letter for each point. So to distinguish between the original and the image, you add the prime symbol. So if you started with A, it would become A prime, or the image of A. If you had B, it would become B prime, or use a star to label the image. You can use arrows to show a transformation. So for question 3, we're going to slide the point P 3 units down and then copy the shape and write the coordinates. So here's our point P. We're going to slide it 3 units down, 1, 2, 3. So we could put a little dot here, and then it says to copy the shape. So if your dot was here and then you have 3 squares to the right, we can copy that shape and fill it in. And then we need to label P as P prime. So we use that little dot there, and then you're finding the coordinates. So for P, that will go here. What's your X, and then what's your Y, and then for the image of P or P prime, what's your X and what's your Y, and you can put those here. You'll do the same thing for each of these. So wherever you're moving this shape, this will stay as that corner, so everything else would come with it, right? And so it'll have that slant and angle. Question 4 is going to ask you to slide each triangle 6 units to the right and 2 units down. The easiest way to do this is to move each of the points that much. So if we were to look at point A, we need to go 6 units right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 2 units down, 1, 2. So this would become your new A. So we can call that A prime or A image. Then we do the same thing to B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, and we can label that. For C, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, plot the point and label it, and then you can draw the shape in. I would recommend that you use a ruler so yours looks better than mine. So as you're finding your points, you're going, okay, here's A, what are the coordinates? Here's the X, here's the Y, fill them in. Then you look at A image. What's the X? What's the Y? And fill that in. So for each of these, X, Y for B, B image, X, and Y. And that will go in there. You'll do the same thing for question B as well. Question 5 has several components to it, A through G. So part A is to describe how point D moved to point D prime or D image. So here's D, here's where it ended up. So it moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units to the right, and then 2 units up. So that's how you would fill this in here, 2 units up. And then B asks you to translate the shape A, B, C, D so that D slides to point D. So if D has moved like this, we need to move A exactly the same way. So they all need to go 5 units to the right and 2 units up. Then draw an arrow to show where point A moved to under the translation. So just like they did here, D, they have an arrow that points to D prime. You're going to do the same thing. Wherever your A prime is, you're then going to draw an arrow from A to A prime. Part D asks you to describe how point A moved. So how many units to the right, how many units up? Did all of the points on the parallelogram move the same amount right and the same amount up? And if your shape looks the same, you should find that yes, they did. Then they'll ask you to fill in the coordinates of the vertices of the original parallelogram, ABCD, and the image, A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. So just like normal, here's A. What's your X value? What's your Y value? Fill it in. Where's your A prime? What's your X value? What's your Y value? Fill it in. Okay? And then for part G, write an algebraic expression for each coordinate. So if point X slides 5 units right and how many units up to point? So this is where we'll go. If you are moving to the right, you will have X plus however many spaces you moved. If you're moving to the left, you're going to go X minus however many spaces you moved because your X value needs to become less. To go up, it would be Y plus however many spaces you move, and to move down, we want to decrease our Y, so it is Y minus however many spaces you would like to move. So these are the things that you'll fill in. So for your X point, if you're going to the right, it's going to be X plus 5 because we move 5 places. And the Y, if we're going up, Y plus, and then however many spaces up you need to move. For question 6, you're going to get to choose how you slide the shape or translate the shape. So it doesn't matter where you move it as long as it's facing the same way. So you can move it to the right, to the left, you can move it up or down, any of those diagonals, but keep it facing the same direction. So wherever you draw it, it should have 3 across and then 1 coming down. Okay, we're not rotating it a different direction. So you need to start by putting, here's your point P, so what's your X, what's your Y, and then wherever you've drawn it, find your new P and what is your X and Y value. And then for your slide, say how many places you moved it. So I moved it this many to the left and this many up. Okay? Same thing for part B. You choose where you move it. We're just sliding, no flipping, no rotating, just translations. And you have to put the coordinates for your original P and your P image or P prime, and then say what your slide is. So this is where you put in like this many left, this many up. I'm going to put questions 7 and 8 together since they're quite similar. So think of up as positive and down as negative. What is the result of each pair of translations? So you're going to write an addition statement using integers. So if we go 3 units up and 5 units down, so that would be up 3 and down 5. So overall, that would equal -2 or 2 units down. So 4 units up, well, up is plus, so +4, and 3 units down, -3. So then what does that equal? So overall, if it's a negative integer at the end, you'll be moving down. If it's a positive integer, you'll be moving up. For question 8, we're doing the same thing with left and right. So right is going to be positive and left will be negative. So when we have 3 units right and 5 units left, well, 3 units right will be our +3 and is our addition sign, and 5 left will be -5. So 3 plus -5 is -2, and a negative is to the left, so it's 2 units to the left. For question 9, they asks you to think of right and up as positive and left and down as negative. So we're writing 2 addition statements using integers to show the result of each pair. So your up and down will be 1 addition statement, and then your left and right will be 1. So if we have 3 units up, so that's +3, so I'll do A with you, and 2 units to the right, that's going to be the beginning of our second one. 5 units down, well, that's going to go with our up one, -5, and 4 units to the right, we can add another +4 to our original right one. Okay, so we would have -2 and +6. Once you have your 2 addition statements, then we can say what we're moving. So this was 3 units up and 5 units down. So our -2 means we're moving 2 units down, and our 2 units to the right and then 4 units to the right is +6, which means 6 units to the right. So you might need to shift around which matches with which one. So you want your up and down together, that's why they're both highlighted in yellow, and you want your lefts and your rights together. So we've separated them so that you can find your ultimate directions down and to the right. Question 10 also has a few different parts. So a rectangle with vertices A, B, C, and D is translated 4 units left and 2 units up. So they want you to predict the coordinates of the vertices. So to predict this, you could look at A and go, okay, my first value, X, is going to tell me left or right. So if I'm going 4 units left, 4 less than 1 is -3. So maybe that's my guess. And then 2 units up, well, my Y is 1, so 2 more than 1 is 3. So maybe my guess is -4 and 3. You'll do that for each of the coordinates to write your guess. Then you check your answer by drawing both rectangles. So you'll need to go, okay, A is 1 and 1, plot it there, label it. B is 1 and 3, plot it and label it, and then do the same thing with the image to see if it actually does go 4 units to the left and 2 units up. Your third step is to translate your new triangle. So notice this is A image, B image, C image, D image, not the original one here. You're taking your new triangle and moving it 3 units right and 5 units down, and then you can write the new coordinates here. Okay? Finally, they'll ask how far did the rectangle ABCD move as a result of 2 translations. So you will have your original, you'll have your second one and your third one. They're asking what the relationship between your first to your third is if you skip that second step. Okay? For part B, they're going to give you a trapezoid. So here's your new points, and it's translated 4 units right and 3 units down. The image points are, so you can say what will the new points be, and then translate this new trapezoid 2 units right and 7 units up. How did the original trapezoid move under the 2 translations? So once again, you're going from the first to the last to see how many units it has gone to the left or the right and how many units it has gone up or down. You can write an integer addition to show your work if you would like. So what that looks like is if we have 3 and 7, if I'm moving 4 units right, I can add 4 to 3, and that will give me 7. And 3 units down, then I'll subtract 3 from my y value, so I get 7 and 4, if that's how you would like to show your work, okay? These units keep getting a little bit odder and trickier, so if you want any help, please feel free to set up a Zoom call with me. Otherwise, I'll look forward to seeing your answers on the Google form.